So I'm excited to get to talk about this. I've been a fan of the Orville since it first launched back on Fox, and I've enjoyed the journey since.
You have a
Um,
Ted shirt on?
that is a Ted shirt. Ted is my
You're a
Thunderbolt.
McFarlane fan.
I am a Seth MacFarlane fan as well. Yes.
Amazing.
Sadly, he didn't have enough time for us today, but that's okay. I am excited to talk to everybody just as much.
Awesome. Well, he's probably busy doing another show or TV, movie, something for you to watch. So we'll let him be
Probably.
busy.
So I'll let it slide this time.
Yeah.
So this season is really quite the exciting new venture with Hulu and with the new tone, I should say, because it is a little more serious than before. And on that note, I'll start with you. Your character really is quite the interesting new addition to the crew. I don't want to say she's bad because she is very sympathetic, but I mean, what has that been like for you?
Sorry.
She is badass. I will say that. I will agree. But I mean, what has that been like for you, really finding that right, that walking that fine line between, such a very complex character?
I mean, I don't know. I think I really found a place of where she was coming from. So in my mind, it felt very genuine at the beginning, which made for her arc to be just really significant, which I'm excited for you guys to see what I'm talking about. I mean, she's definitely coming off of that Kalon battle, being the only survivor of her ship. So she has a big chip on her shoulder. So, I mean, I think that was definitely her mindset going into this new crew. And then her conversations and everything she has with Isaac are very, she doesn't like him clearly. But I think she ends up learning a lot with this new cast and on the Orville that kind of, maybe make her a little different towards the end.
So even though she is very hostile with Isaac, I mean, what was it like for you working with Mark and sort of finding a rapport off camera before coming into each scene?
I mean, I love Mark. It's always like a funny thing with actors too, because you love someone off screen and then you have to like really hate them and kind of feel bad that you're being so mean and then be like, oh, sorry, don't take it personal. No, Mark was great. And it was weird working for the first time with like a robot, because it genuinely is.
Why would that be?
Eye connection, like with somebody as an actor. Like, it's so weird to look into two blue eyes and like really find a person in there to hate, I mean, he looks like someone, I guess, that other people would, I don't know, but it's without having that eye connection is strange. So that was challenging for sure. But Mark is great. I mean, I love everybody on the cast. It was really nice walking into this new crew.
That's always what you want.
Too.
That's good to hear. That's especially when you're coming in on a third season of a show, you never know how it's going to be. So that's great to hear. So Jessica, for you, I mean, this is only your second season on the show, even though this is season 3. What was it like for you then, getting to come back as I shouldn't say new character, regular, but coming back for you?
Yeah, I was excited. It's being able to, with the way these scripts are and the storylines and these, the topics that we get to play with and do in this space world. So I feel like we get to dive in even more, and then we kind of leave it to the audience to come up with their own conclusions to what we're talking about and exploring and touching on. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. So I'm like so happy that I got to, come back and work with everyone and be on these amazingly beautiful sets and play with these awesome actors. And then having Annie come on, and what she brought to the table, to the ship, to the role, was just like the flavor and the layers were so like yummy to like play off of and watch. And I'm so excited for everyone to just go on this journey with us this season. They're all like mini movies. There's like so many of us with the ship has evolved. All of our storylines and characters are evolving so much. And it's just like done. It's like magnificent. I was like watching these and I'm like, I don't know of another word, but other than like magnificent, like it brings you in. There's moments, and this is going to sound super weird, because I play an alien and I'm watching myself as an alien. But there's moments where I'm like, it's a sci-fi show where, but then all of a sudden some of the scenes where you're like, we're in the middle of the forest and then we're at this high school. And then I'm like, it takes me out that like we live on this spaceship for a second. So I always think that that's like the most beautiful thing about being an actor and being able to do a show on Hulu with the creator of Seth MacFarlane, because we get to dabble and do all these things. And I'm like, this is just insane. Like, I'm like, I literally watched episode
They
3.
can really write whatever, and everything can make sense or be written in space because there's really no limits.
Right. And I think that's like amazing and beautiful. That was also very challenging too. Like some of the dialogue and having the eye lines of, looking at a green screen and I'm talking to, John, but I'm really talking to a bright red X, like halfway across the room. So to really like figure out that pattern and that beat to make it still seem organic, like I'm talking to another human or actor or alien, could be challenging at times. But all in all, when you see the finished product and everyone really brought their A game, it's been such a beautiful experience. I mean, the only thing that was a bummer was that it, took so long to come out, but that was because, we didn't know, that the world was going to shut down and all that. So I'm happy it's worth the wait. So I'm very excited for everyone, and that we got to do it in a safe way, as safe as we could. That's why it took so long.
Well, from what I've seen so far, I think it's certainly worth the wait. I mean, as you mentioned, the production values alone on this are not that they were bad before, but there's definitely, you can see an improvement.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited to see more. So since you do mention the evolution in characters and storylines, I'm curious for Keali. I mean, last season we saw her really become connected to Lokar for that one episode, and then since then, we haven't really seen any kind of partnership in that form for her. Do we get to explore that a little bit more in this season?
Yes, there's some fun storylines with Tala. For sure. I know that can only talk about certain things. So, her experience with her career, there's a lot of ups and downs, and Ed finds he finds more trust and gives her a lot more responsibility. But between her personal life and work, it's a fun journey with Tala this year. So I'm excited for everyone. I can't say much more, but
well, I certainly look forward to seeing more, and I get you can't say more, but I was curious. Before watching the new screeners, I went back and revisited the first 2 seasons. So because I wanted to refamiliarize myself with everybody.
Sure. And that was also so fun to work with them and go back to New York, where we are now. Back in the day, that was like, that set was beautiful. That was so cool. That's what I mean about the show. Like, I've gotten to go to New York. I've gotten to take dance lessons. I'm talking about like Tala going to New York, like just all the different sets and things. It's just been such a great ride.
So, Anne, I'll come to you next for Charlie. I know that you really bonded with Scott Grimes' character. Why am I struggling to remember his name? In that first episode. And so I'm curious, what was that like for you? Really, working with him, especially since he is someone who is such a Seth MacFarlane vet at this point.
Gosh, I loved sitting next to him. That was so fun. Although sometimes quite dangerous, because he makes you laugh at the most unwarranted times. And if you are on camera and you are doing something serious, and there's a lot of days when a lot of us don't even have a line to say, but we're in battle, or like we're doing something and we have to have these serious faces. And I swear it would be like on those days where you kind of feel a little bit stupid, but that it'll all come together, that he just will crack a joke and I just can't like keep a straight face. So that was challenging, honestly, but fun wise and character, buddy wise, we definitely have a good bond in the show and off the show. Yeah.
That's good. So did you find that intimidating though at all, since he had that sort of relationship with Jay in season 1 and for most of season 2?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess, but I also saw it just like as an opportunity to kind of come in and make something new, I guess. I don't know. When people ask about the intimidation, I feel like as an actor, like you are constantly acting with different people who maybe you've seen or like looked up to, and it's intimidating until you get there. And once I put on a uniform and once I'm like in character, that's out of my head. I am like, this is me now. This is who I am. I'm sitting next to you for a reason. Took me a long time to get here, audition, after meeting, after this. I am here. I am like taking
ready to go.
Like,
Yeah.
that's it.
But I also think with that, if there is any, I don't know if intimidating is the word, but like, if there is that, you just bring that into the scene and make it be like, this is going to like, I'm not going to let that affect what I got going on here, because it's like you said, you work too hard to finally have an opportunity to like work with amazing actors and stuff like that. There's definitely nerves and all those things. But I think when you have any type of those feelings, my thing is just to try to bring it to the scene.
And also going back, like Scott made it very comfortable. Like it was very easy to get on that set and like feel at home, I guess.
Yeah. And I was you the year before coming in, and I everyone was just very welcoming, very great. But she also, which I hope that I did the same, but you really got to come in and be ready to go. Like knowing the dialogue, and not obviously, you have to know the dialogue as an actor on anything you go on. But I'm saying this is so specific. I mean, we have a dictionary in the beginning of our dictionary. We have like a page of how to.
No, it's like a dictionary.
Mini dictionary. So it's like there's different layers to this, like the eye lines, like the green screen. This isn't like you're going on a set and having dinner with your friends. It's you're in space, you're in battle, you're having different eye lines. There's so much going on. So it's a different layer, but you got to be ready. And she came on ready to go. So if there was any intimidation, she definitely was. You didn't see.
So my talent as Charlie is like being able to see things 4-dimensionally and like being bringing in like a really smart mathematic element to this. And I watched so many YouTube videos. I was like, I'm going to just go to physics class or try to learn like just a smidge of what Charlie knows. And I'm telling you, this Charlie girl is so smart. I hope one day that I can really understand even the tip of an iceberg of what she does. But I think I really played it off well.
I couldn't agree more. I think you did, and hopefully you both get to grow more in your roles, because I want more. I want more Orville for years to come. So with that said, though, since this is such a fun environment, as you both have said, with the cast and crew, is there any room to improvise in those scenes with everybody, or is it really kind of just all on the page right there?
I think it's situational. I think it's most of the time it's on the page, it's there, because it's so specific to what we're talking about, and not just as like Tala being, Kiali and being a Chilean. There it's very like, when we're in battle and all this, it's like there's certain ways that you have to talk and certain terms that you have to use, because it's what we're doing. So I think it's situational, to be honest. I think.
Yeah. I mean, in those fun
scenes, feel like I was always very married to what was on the page, unless Seth and I spoke before, if we heard it at the table where we didn't like it or spoke before a scene, like, hey, let's change it this way. And then you go in the, the little video village and change it. For me, I think I was pretty much married to it, but I also, Tala just was a very specific way of her tone and what she was talking about. So there wasn't a lot of room for me, I don't believe, to like ad lib. You know what I'm saying?
Either, but I could see like maybe in those conversations that are a little bit lighthearted, or like in the mess hall and stuff.
In the mess hall, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like you can maybe throw around a conversation, but yeah, I would say pretty married to the page. The first season, I would just guess, I wasn't there, but I would assume that there was probably a lot more improvise.
I feel you, girl. But yeah,
probably. But I certainly look forward to, as I just said, I look forward to more. I look forward to seeing the rest of the season. You two have been amazing so far from what I've seen. I look forward to seeing the evolution of Charlie, especially with her whole Kalon hatred. So we'll thank you both so much for taking the time to chat. I really do appreciate it.